morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. We're here for Thursdays 13. We've got a list of all of the places you can't immigrate to, or it's really hard to immigrate to. So don't go there. They probably won't let you in.
They will, but they're really strict. They're really strict.
Okay.
I mean,
you might get in if you pay the right person. Wink, wink.
And some of them are just
we can talk about it during the list. This is the first and only international game show Before Coffee, a father and daughter news podcast where we look up our stories right before we've started. We've just got caffeine in our bodies and we're learning to read and speak live on stream. Let's get into those Thursday general news headlines and our list and spin that segue wheel. Today on Thursdays 13, a Danish warship sunk by Admiral Horatio Nelson found in the Copenhagen Harbor, and French President lauds predictability of Europe in Japan.
Greetings from the United States, where astronauts are in space headed towards the moon and they are facing radiation problems. We'll update that. And Fleetwood Mac's Lindsay Buckingham was attacked by some lady.
New funding targets gives electricity access for millions in Africa.
Are you thinking of immigrating? Well, just cross off your list because all are and there's two of them. You don't want to go there.
In my culture news, Germany to create Restitution Council to return colonial era acquired cultural artifacts.
It's DIY Day, so do it yourself. It's April 2nd, 2026. Do it yourself.
It's gonna rain here too, actually. Funnily enough.
Thunderstorms.
Very cloudy. It's crazy how weather can be the same in different places.
Yeah, we this combination of stuff, burn water. All right, let's do the spin.
Let's roll our first segue.
Rain. Yeah. If I could predict these spins, I'd be rich.
Haiku is our first segue today, and I have two stories here.
Wow, I did predict it.
Look at that.
I already started writing haiku because I know it was coming up. I already started the H.
He has the inner
eye.
eye.
Hypothetical too. Anyway, yeah.
This first news story is coming from James Brooks on AP News, coming out of Copenhagen. More than 200 years after being sunk by Admiral Horatio Nelson and the British fleet, a Danish warship has been discovered on the seabed of Copenhagen Harbor by marine archaeologists. Working in thick sediment and almost zero visibility, 15 meters or 49 feet beneath the waves, divers are in a race against time to unearth the 19th century wreck of the Dannebroge before it becomes a construction site in a new housing district being built off the Danish coast. Denmark's Viking Ship Museum, which is leading the months-long underwater excavations, announced its findings on Thursday, today the 2nd of April, 225 years to the day since the Battle of Copenhagen in 1801. It is a big part of the Danish national feeling, says Morten Johansen, the museum's head of maritime archaeology. A great deal has been written about the battle, but by very enthusiastic spectators, but we actually don't know how it was to be on board a ship shot to pieces by English warships, and some of that story can still be possibly learned from seeing the wreck, Johannesson said. The Associated Press was the only international outlet given access to this site. Okay, way to brag, AP. We get it. In the Battle of Copenhagen, Nelson and the British fleet attacked and defeated Denmark's navy as it formed a protective blockade outside the harbor. Thousands were killed and wounded during the brutal hours-long naval clash, considered one of Nelson's great battles. The intention was to force Denmark out of the alliance of Northern European powers, including Russia, Prussia, and Sweden. Why would Denmark leave like an ally with Sweden? They're right next door. Anyways, at the center of the fight was the Danish flagship, the Dannebrog, commanded by Commodore Olfert Fischer. The 48-meter, 157-foot Dannebrog was Nelson's main target. Cannon fire tore through its upper deck before incendiary shells sparked a fire aboard. At least according to eyewitness accounts, right? It was a nightmare to be on board one of these ships, Johannesson said. When a cannonball hits a ship, it's not the cannonball that does the most damage to the crew. It's wooden splinters flying everywhere. Very much like grenade debris. The battle also is believed to have inspired the phrase, to turn a blind eye. After deciding to ignore a superior signal, Nelson, who had lost sight in his right eye, reportedly remarked, "I have only one eye. I have a right to be blind sometimes." Nelson eventually offered a truce and ceasefire. Was later agreed with Denmark's Crown Prince Frederick. The stricken Dannebrog slowly drifted northward and exploded. Records say the sound created a deafening roar across Copenhagen. Admiral Horatio Nelson, oh sorry, that was just a quote from the Admiral. Marine archaeologists have discovered 2 cannons, uniforms, insignia, shoes, bottles, and even a part of a sailor's lower jaw. Perhaps one of the 19 unaccounted for crew members who likely lost their lives that day. The dig site will soon be enveloped by construction work by the Lindholm, a mega project to build a new housing district in the middle of Copenhagen's harbor that is expected to be completed in 2070. We were just there in 2023 at the harbor. That's crazy. Copenhagen's harbor. Oh, they even have a picture of this jaw. Like wow. That's really... It even has like scorch marks, like where your jaw would attach to your face, right? It's burnt. So this guy got his face blasted, probably. Blasted off, and his jaw just detached, and it got lost in the debris. What a rough way to go. Shrapnel in the face.
That probably ended quickly.
Marine archaeologists began surveying the area last year, targeting a spot thought to match the flagship's final position. Experts say the sizes of the wooden parts found match old drawings. Oh, here we go. Dendrochronological data. Dendrochronological. That's a long word. The method of using tree rings to establish the age of wood matched the year the ship was built. They also say the darkened dig site is full of cannonballs, a hazard for divers navigating waters darkened by clouds of silt stirred up from the seabed. Morten Johannesson, head of the Maritime Archaeology of Denmark's Viking Ship Museum, shows part of the human lower jawbone recovered from the wreck of the Danish flagship that sank during the Battle of Copenhagen in 1801. And this was from March 31st, where the photo was taken. He also has a metal insignia recovered from the wreck, showing the Danish insignia. Sometimes you can't see anything, and then you really have to just feel your way around, look at your fingers instead of your eyes, a diver and maritime archaeologist Mary Johnson said. Yep, that's true. Sometimes when you can't see, you just gotta use your hands. Chronicled in books and painted on canvases, the 1801 battle is deeply embedded in Denmark's national story. Archaeologists hope their discoveries may help re-examine the event that shaped the Scandinavian country and perhaps uncover personal stories of those who went into battle on the day 225 years ago. There are bottles, there are ceramics, and even pieces of basketry, Johnson said. You can get closer to the people on board. That's what archaeologists do. They take all the junk and say, what did this junk actually mean? That's the story.
Okay, haiku. Let's see. I gotta get this right. I don't want to get the wrong number of syllables. All right. The Danish seabed has an ancient sunken ship. Was Hamlet involved? Probably not.
It's where
Danish
his friends died. His friends died on the ship.
Maybe his grandchildren.
Our next story is, I think it should be a little shorter. We've got some drama in politics as usual. This is coming from Tokyo, AFP and Taipei Times. French President Emmanuel Macron yesterday. Oh, sorry, I should have given you a applause or something for your haiku. Didn't do that. Here you go. Let me get your belated applause.
Where's my applause?
Okay. French President Emmanuel Macron yesterday praised Europe's predictability during a visit to Japan, contrasting with the countries that could hurt you without even informing you in an apparent swipe at convicted felon Trump. Tuesday, which was the 31st of March, he wrote on social media that Paris had been very unhelpful during the war with Iran. Yeah, because you didn't fucking tell us you're invading Iran, asshole. I am well aware that sometimes Europe can be seen as a continent that is slower than others, but predictability has value, and we have demonstrated that over all these past years, and dare I say, even these past weeks, we are where you know we will go. Macron told Japanese business leaders and investors in Tokyo. That's not bad in times like these, believe me. My voice acting suddenly went to the Caribbean for a minute there. Suddenly Macron is from Saint Martin or something. From Haiti.
No, he's sounding South African to me still.
Oh, okay. Macron criticized countries that said they were going much faster than their allies, but you don't know whether the day after tomorrow they will still be in that position, whether tomorrow they won't make a decision that could hurt you without even informing you. The remark was a reference to the month-long U.S.-Israeli war against Iran, which has virtually closed the vital Strait of Hormuz. Later, following a meeting with the Japanese Prime Minister, Sane Takaichi, Macron spoke of two sides cooperating in the face of the current energy crisis. We share a belief in international law and in the international order based on the United Nations Charter. And we also believe in the democratic values that we defend. This is why we both advocate the return to peace, to a ceasefire, to calm and to free movement of people and goods through the Strait of Hormuz, he said. Takaichi echoed his words, saying the two leaders had agreed on the importance of ensuring the safety of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz, maintaining a stable supply of essential materials, and calming the situation as soon as possible. And that's all your news. I told you it was short. About Macron can clap back, so to say. Macron's clap back.
All right. Emmanuel Macron is 5 syllables, so that was easy. Emmanuel Macron praising Japanese leaders. Not hegemony, right? Because Japan is on our list of people that, hey, we don't want any immigrants. So screw Japan. Screw them. Why do we got to allow immigrants, but Japan doesn't? It makes no sense. Or China, friend. China, your population is shrinking, folks.
We can talk about this when you get your list. You can do these rants then.
I can talk about anything I want to. It's a free country. All right.
It's not a free show, though.
All right. Good one. All right. Gotcha. Hey, I only want, 10 seconds too long there, maybe? Big deal.
Accurate metaphor and simile for our next segue for your story.
Metaphor.
Story or stories.
Let's do metaphor. I have 2 stories. One's a quick one, so it should be easy. It's about Lindsay Buckingham, who's apparently still in Fleetwood Mac. I have no idea.
Okay.
But apparently him and Stevie Nicks have made up. So she's like, oh, I'm not mad at him as much as I used to be, but whatever. It'll probably change tomorrow. Those two, man. It's been 50 years. Anyway, another woman has an issue with Lindsay. Let's KTLA.com has a story. Christine Samra and Josh DeBose. Two people to write this short story. Fleetwood Mac's Lindsay Buckingham was attacked in Santa Monica. She was attacked last week. Just getting to the news today. Police on March 5th, Buckingham was arriving at an appointment. They had an appointment. I don't know if the doctor's. And when a female who is being described as a stalker doused the artist with an unknown substance and fled the scene. Unknown substance. Oh, well, it's a good thing it wasn't acid or anything. The Grammy Award-winning artist wasn't injured. TM reported that this isn't the first time Buckingham and the suspect had been in contact with each other, although it's what the circumstances were. Police report who the suspect is, but haven't taken her into custody. The Los Angeles Police Department confirmed to KTLA that an attack did occur in Santa Monica, and would only add that the working with the police department to investigate the incident. Los Angeles Police Department, when it should be the Santa Monica Police Department you're talking to. First. Anyway, Buckingham and his family have had past stalking issues named Michelle Dick. Her name is Michelle Dick. All righty, and got a restored against
sure
the
is.
woman after 3 years of alleged harassment and death. We're not. Yes, it's probably her. Yeah. But they did have an order against this nut. It's not clear, however, who is involved in the incident is the same person. We'll just guess out there. We're not sure. Allison Treisel, KTL legal analyst, said the person accused in the incident could face serious consequences. Yes, assaulting people is a crime. This is certainly assault. If the unknown substance is a chemical that could lead to state prison sentence of 4 years, even if it's not a chemical, it's still assault, man. There has been a real fear and concern about her, Michelle Dick, this lady, and if this known stalker is a person that allegedly assaulted Mr. Buckingham, she's looking at some serious time in state prison. Carries an outstanding restraining order. Yep, the restraining order violation is another thing, and the assault is another crime. According to the court documents, Dick began sending messages to Buckingham's wife's business phone stating that she was going to kill them. The Buckingham woman later, though, the 50-year-old woman began leaving Buckingham threatening through social media. Court records also indicated she was spotted outside Buckingham's Brentwood home on numerous occasions over the years, and also making 911 calls stating that someone at Buckingham's residence needed help. KTLA has already reached out to Buckingham for a statement. He's like, leave me alone, okay? Just leave me alone. All right, there you go. There's your crazy lady update. You probably know it's the same person. I don't think there's two people out there like this. There might be, but
let's stop being stalkers and delusional, everyone. Fan. Yeah, please.
Right.
Lindsay Buckingham's melodies were disrupted by the harsh clash of chaos, leaving one's harmonious notes to spiral into a cacophony of shock and bewilderment. What the hell did that lady just put on me?
Holy Christ, that wasn't a metaphor. It was a biography. Anyway. Biography. Yeah, that's it. That was the longest metaphor I ever heard. That was an accurate metaphor, not a mixed one, right?
Yeah, that was accurate.
Okay. All right, then. Let's have another story. One more story from earthly problems to problems in space. LiveScience.com has a story from Patrick Pester. Astronauts can face nearly radiation. So why launch Artemis II during the sun's peak activity? Well, I guess somebody will tell me. NASA did take off already yesterday to the moon, giving NASA up to space flight affects the human being. After leaving Earth's protecting field, 4-person crew, the more exposed space includes high energy eruption of radiation from the sun known as solar flares. Science spoke with Patricia Reef, a professor of physics and astronomy at Rice University in Houston, up to space weather and how it could impact the Artemis 2 mission. Reef has had more than 50 years experience studying space plasma physics and received her doctorate analyzing data from NASA's first trips to the moon during the Apollo era. Here's what she said about the radiation risks they face. Space weather comes in several flavors. A solar flare can emit very energetic particles that come at nearly the speed of light, and those are the ones that can harm astronauts on their way to the moon because they are so energetic they can penetrate the hulls of a spacecraft. The longer term forms of space weather are a result of coronal mass ejections, or CME. When that hits the Earth and creates beautiful red, a CME can affect power and transmission line, but it won't affect the astronauts in space because it's low energy and it's not directly harmful. There are two forms of radiation that affect astronauts who are outside of Earth's orbit. One is the solar energetic particles. These are the ones that come as a result of solar flares. They can be very intense, but are generally relatively short-lived. When a storm like that occurs, the astronauts know where to go in the capsule that offers the most protection. And they know it's when it's on their way, right? Because we're not right next to
They have Geiger counters on.
It takes about 10 minutes for the light to get here. In 15 minutes, you got, hey, here comes some radiation our way. Let's hide in the radiation pod or whatever. The other form of radiation is that the other form of radiation that is a danger to astronauts in deep space is the galactic cosmic rays. These are always being produced. These are much more energetic, but there are a lot fewer of them and they are constant. It is a kind of like taking a chest X-ray every day. You just don't want to do it for too long. You get gamma rays, X-rays, and things that'll just eat through your skin. They just create... These are very difficult to shield against because they're so energetic, and when they hit the spacecraft, they just create secondary rays that can be almost as bad as the primaries. One of the nice things about solar maximum, which is what we are in now, in other words, the solar, is that the solar wind is stronger and it keeps those galactic cosmic rays to the inner system. So if we're going on a mission on the moon to Mars, I would definitely go at a solar max rather than a solar minimum. That's what she's saying. A recent study found that the likelihood of super flares during a greater solar maximum, with the lead author recommending that NASA delay Artemis 2 until the end of the year. Are they right or wrong? And here's her answer. The sun has an 11-year cycle, and generally speaking, the biggest flares occur at the highest sunspot number. But sunspot cycle stronger than the one we had 11 years ago and others. So I don't necessarily see a particular additional super flare now that would have had any 20 years ago. That's shit. Can still happen. It's a very dangerous mission. One last question. Artemis 2's mission goals is to study the impact of space radiation on astronaut health. How do we do that? She answers this question with every astronaut keeps a monitor in to measure how much radiation they absorb. And there is both an annual maximum and a lifetime maximum. So if an astronaut receives their maximum dose of radiation, then they're done. They're retired from going into space. And interestingly, a maximum allowable lifetime dose for an astronaut, allowable lifetime dose for airplane pilot, because it's by its very nature much more dangerous job, and it's a risk they sign up for. Yeah, airplane pilots again are exposed to harmful radiation because they're flying way up there above the clouds. So there's your story on the astronauts, and kind of tells you that yeah, it's dangerous. Great safe time to go, and this might be the safest time, because they know the radiation's coming in these storms and they can plan for it. I guess that's the rationale behind it, or non-assault story today. No assaults happening on this one, except the assaults on science.
Did you actually watch the takeoff
to the moon
yesterday? Did you watch the takeoff on YouTube?
Literally minutes after it happened. Minutes after it happened, I watched it, yes. It happened about 6:35 or something at night.
I watched, it wasn't nighttime. It looked pretty daylight time.
At night, that just means PM. That's all it means.
Oh, okay, that's what you meant. Okay.
It doesn't get dark though. It doesn't get dark till 8 o'clock.
Yeah. I mean, it was dark where I was, but I'm 6 hours ahead, right? So yeah, we watched it, and then they had a little live stream where they showed they showed a camera at the back of the rocket just slowly going farther and farther away from Earth. Yep. So that was pretty cool too. Okay, I have a metaphor
for a little bit of time, but that'll happen with solar radiation.
Exactly, because what are cosmic rays but haunting melodies that dance through the vacuum? That's what they are.
Yeah, that's right. That's what soundboard. And how do we notice that some disc jockey on the sun playing the greatest for the solar system, right? Just sending out them radio waves out there, all the solar people with solar.
Exactly.
All the beings out there that can make solar wave. We're so trapped in our human bodies, we can't see anything else that exists out there. We can't rationalize our own, difference from the universe. Every being, every UFO being ever created in the history of science fiction is all look like a human for some reason. Makes no sense. Not everyone. Star Trek took us other, but anyway.
Our next segue reminds you of a song. Get reminded of a song.
Oh boy! All right.
And our next story is coming out of Africa. That's right. We don't just talk about Europe and the U.S. here. We also like to talk about other countries and other regions of the world. So this is generally about Africa, but I think they'll tell us which country in Africa it is. Kenya. So this is actually from Kenya. This is from Alan Olingo on AP News, coming out of Nairobi, the capital of Kenya, for people who don't know the geography. Before dawn, in the narrow allies of Mathare, an informal settlement in Kenya's capital, Agnes Mabesa flicks on a single light hanging from her tin roof. For years, the mother of three relied on smoky kerosene lamps. Now, electricity lights her home and powers a small shop she runs from her veranda. Before the power came, we closed early because it was too dark, Mabesa said. Now people come even at night, and I can earn something. Hundreds of kilometers from Nairobi in Sori, western Kenya, fisherman Samuel Okech tells a similar story. After a solar mini-grid reached his village, he brought a freezer to store his catch. Fish that once had to be sold quickly at low prices can now be preserved and transported to nearby towns. These small changes mean a lot, Okech said. Electricity gives us an option. My wife can now sell fish without being taken advantage of by brokers who have the freezers. Their experiences with electrification, funded by philanthropic and government source, highlights how expanded energy access can transform their lives and improve livelihoods. More than 730 million people worldwide still lack access to electricity, about 600 million of them in Africa. Limited access to constraints healthcare, education, and digital connectivity and job creation. So let's look at those numbers again. 730 million people worldwide, the whole globe, don't have electricity, and 600 million of those people are in one continent. That's what? 80% or something? More? 86 or something percent of people don't have any, and they're all in Africa. New financing aims to accelerate the process. The European Investment Bank pledged more than $1.15 billion in March for renewable energy projects across sub-Saharan Africa, including hydropower, solar, wind, and grid expansion. This funding in Europe's commitment to provide cleaner, more affordable, and reliable energy for hundreds of millions of people in Africa, said the European Investment Bank President Nadia Calvino. The Rockefeller Foundation also announced in March at the Africa Energy Indaba in Cape Town, South Africa, that it will invest an additional $10 million to support electrification programs in at least 15 African countries. The funding will be deployed with the Global Energy Alliance for People and Planet to strengthen national programs to support government reforms. African governments are choosing to transform the energy sector by committing to national energy compacts in investing in African-led solutions, said William Asiko, Senior Vice President at the Rockefeller Foundation. The investments support the Mission 300 initiative led by the World Bank and African Development Bank, which aims to connect 300 million people in sub-Saharan Africa to electricity by 2030 through grid expansion and decentralized solutions such as mini-grids, which is what that Fisher in that village was talking about, a mini-grid, and off-grid solar. Across much of Africa, where national electricity grids are often unreliable, mini-grids have emerged as a key alternative. Localized energy that doesn't take down the entire block. These small community-level systems, typically powered by solar or hybrid energy, generate and distribute electricity locally. Off-grid systems, by contrast, operate independently at the household level. These include standalone solar kits that provide direct access to power, helping bridge electricity gaps in remote and underserved areas. The initiative is providing governments in Malawi and Liberia with technical assistance to support national energy plans, expand transmission networks, and improve the reliability and efficiency of distribution systems. Efforts in Côte d'Ivoire, also known as the, what is that called again? The White Coast? Or something, I can't remember what it's called now. Ivory Coast, the Ivory Coast. D'Ivoire is ivory, of ivory. Nigeria, Senegal include local currency financing and pooled procurement support. Andrew Herskowitz, CEO of the Mission 300 Accelerator at RF Capital, said scaling access will require sustained financing and stronger implementation capacity, including improved monitoring and better aligned support to accelerate connections. Energy access is key to unlocking human potential and economic development, Herskowitz said. Kenya has received the funding since 2017, which is why they're using them as an example, because they're showing what can happen in around 10 years. From the World Bank, African Development Bank, and partners under Mission 300 to support its last mile connectivity program, which targets households near existing transformers, particularly in rural areas and informal settlements, as it pushes towards universal electricity access by 2030. Rural access rose to about 68% by 2023 from just under 7% in 2010. Wow, that's some pretty good work. Across Eastern and Southern Africa, where only about 48% of the population and 26% in rural areas have access to electricity, World Bank programs aim to expand area access in up to 20 countries over the next 7 years through renewable energy projects. Mimbesa, the shopkeeper in Mathare, was connected to electricity in 2021 under the Last Mile Connectivity Project. The initiative provided free connections to households and small businesses located near transformers. It's like you actually are allowed to just pull energy straight from the transformer. In America, that's illegal, and I think everywhere else that's illegal, right? You get your little cable, you connect it to the power grid, and like siphoning off energy. But here, they're saying you can do that. They even cut a lot of local funders are covering the standard 115 connection fee. In more remote areas like Oketches. The project incorporated off-grid solutions, including providing mini-grids and solar systems to reach communities beyond the national grid. For Mombasa, the impact is already clear. The single bulb above her shop has extended her working hours and allowed her children to study at night. Education for children, yay! Electricity changes everything, she says. Once you have it, life starts moving forward. So there's your kind of good news here on Thursday about getting electricity to people in Africa. I think you're muted, right?
I don't know if you can hear me or
there
not.
You are. I can hear you now.
Oh, you're there. You're there, right? Because my internet just keeps going in and out.
Yep, I hear you. You never left.
I do have a song. Reminds me of a song. Reminds me of a... Well, I think I did. But anyway. Back. Anyway, my internet isn't working. I don't know how you're hearing me. So the song reminds me of Africa by Toto. I'm in Africa.
Of course, it's the easy one, right? I can hear the electricity sizzle down in Africa, I believe.
Man, I'm sitting here yelling at my phone that whole story. Like, why isn't my phone just loading the thing? And it's just no internet. Oh, why am I hearing you and I have no internet?
I mean, I don't know what you did or what happened. Yeah, I don't know what you did or happened, but you're way better now than before.
Yeah, I didn't do any. Maybe it was eating up too much of my. The phone was just eating up too much of my memory, active memory on my router, or what the deal is.
Something like that, maybe. Yeah.
I was trying to send you a video for the last 5 minutes. Been trying to send you a video. And get it. Do it. After I do my. Oh, you got another story? Do we have another story?
No, we've rolled the segue, and it's now a metaphor and simile. So let me re-roll.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
Let me re-roll because we already done this. Also, good morning, Johnny. Thank you for saying good morning twice. I wasn't ignoring you. I just was finishing the story. Yeah. Okay, I'll do a mixed metaphor this time for our Thursdays 13.
What did you get?
Mixed metaphor.
10. Okay, here we go. All right. Sorry, grabbed a pen that doesn't write. I don't know why I still have pens that don't write. I keep throwing them away, but they keep dying on me. All right, our Thursday 13, I decided that, hey, well, immigration, that's a big thing.
Mm-hmm. It is.
And the big thing in America yesterday was dipshit Donnie Watsley went to the Supreme Court to argue against birthright citizenship, which would make all of his children illegal, except for, I think, Tiffany. Like, all of his children to be illegal. All of them, except for Tiffany. So he's basically trying to get his children deported and maybe his wife even. I don't know. Anyway, he wants to... his racist bullshit is what it is. And so, of course, it's not going anywhere. It's in the Constitution. You're born in America, you're a citizen. And their argument is, anybody can just be born here. Whatever.
Exactly. That's what's beautiful about it.
Either way, it's a bunch of goddamn immigrants from Europe trying to decide who gets to be an American. That's the way I see it. Everybody came from somewhere. And as bad as the United States' reputation is, the United States ain't the worst. There's two countries that aren't even on this list, by the way, and they are India and Korea. And those are two countries that I guess don't allow integration whatsoever. Let's go to the list. This is from worldpopulation.com, and they have 14 countries, but they leave off India. What they say is the only way for foreigners to receive citizenship is through marriage or by giving up their original citizenship to become naturalized. That's what it says under India, and under North Korea
that's what most countries do. Most countries don't let you become dual citizens.
Not really. Oh, okay. Yeah, that part. Yeah. I don't know about most countries, but this is North, of course, to go there anyway. I imagine you want to. Oh boy, my country sucks. Let's go to a place that's yours. No. Luckily for you, only the Presidium or the Supreme People's Assembly grants citizenship to foreigners.
So you have to really brown nose those guys.
But there's other countries. Yeah. But there's other countries that are hard that you may want to go to, such as China or Japan. And we're going to list those countries. So the top 13. The hardest countries to immigrate to, and we're going to tell you what the requirements are. The number one hardest city is the Vatican City, which is a country within a city. It's in Rome. Yeah, the Vatican City. The only way is to become a city, and they're all strict. The first three methods are to be either a Catholic cardinal. as a diplomat of the Holy See. I don't know what that.
I think that's just what they call themselves.
Live in the Vatican. People fitting in this. Right, church officials, basically. Or you could be married to somebody. That's always a thing. Of course, priests can't marry, so that excludes them.
And neither can nuns.
So the Vatican, the final way to attain those who have been granted special permissions to live in the Vatican and children and current residents are eligible. So there you go. If you wanted to become a citizen of Vatican City, tough titty. Hey, it rhymes with Vatican City. Maybe write a song about it. Let's note one. Vatican City. Number 2 on this list, kind of a desirable. I mean, China is a huge country, right? China is a huge country, but they have a declining population, which means somebody's got to fill those jobs. Can't be all robots, right? Robots can only. Somebody's got to repair the robots.
Yeah.
And what China has, naturalized citizens of China, to the point of, according to the Chinese citizens, 940 people out of more than 1 billion applicants. That's a really small percentage.
That's a lot of people.
1,000 out of 1 billion.
That's a lot of people trying to move there too. That's crazy.
That's one out of 1 million.
Live there,
one out of 1 million. Literally a 1 out of chance. So there you go. Then enables foreign-born individuals to become naturalized citizens if they have relatives and are Chinese citizens, or if they live permanently, they have some other legitimate reason, whatever that means. This naturalization process is theoretically possible. That's
theoretically.
Terms,
yeah.
In practice, as 1 in 1 million, it's like winning the lottery, right? Number 3, we're seeing in Asia and another country with declining population, and their workers are working until they're 80 now because they know where to replace them. Japan, come on, hegemony is not your friend. Japan, you've been an open society long enough. You start to people that aren't Japanese in your country. You become a citizen of Japan, you citizenship, seeking to become Japanese citizens 5 years and endure meticulous review, interview process, 8 years to date. What's more, since the implementation of the Nakai law, more hegemony, actually pay unemployed Latin American immigrants return to their home. That stay Latin American ass in our country, get Cuba or wherever. Yeah. I'll beat this drum. We always excuse countries being a hegemony and totalitarianism assholes. We're going to the Middle East. More countries don't want you. Qatar, or whatever we call it.
Hater.
There's a Q in her name.
But that doesn't mean you pronounce it in English that way. It's cater.
Cater. If an individual neither
cater,
individual, if mother's nationality is not automatically qualifies them from citizen. Your mother doesn't get you there. Your father citizen. Those looking to apply for citizens must have lived regularly in Qatar, legally in Qatar for at least 25.
Damn, that's your whole life.
And never left the country for more than 2 consecutive months. Never left the country for 26. You left the country for 6 days. You're no longer eligible till you sit there for another 25 years. So yeah, don't even try to be Qatar naturalizes no more than approximately 50 foreign-born people each year and grants permanent expatriacy each year. Naturalized citizens are not the same as Qatar. Actual citizenship benefits. So screw that country. Number 4 is one of your smaller countries, almost as small as the Vatican City, Liechtenstein. You could drive through Liechtenstein and not even notice it. That's how small it is. For a foreign-born resident of Liechtenstein to become a citizen, they must live in the country for at least 30 years. If the person years old, each year counts as So there you go. If you got there when you're 18, you can become a citizen in 15 years. By the time you're 33, yay! And might be a great place to live. I don't know. It's in a community-focused touch. The residents of one municipality can vote to grant citizenship to a person after just 10 years. Once the individual is eligible for citizenship, the civil registry office elected sign requires them to announce their citizenship. Another one at renouncing. They want you to renounce. And Liechtenstein, see it on the list. Number 6 through 8. The UAE, which includes, Abu Dhabi and
Dubai
places, Oman, Bahrain, whatever. According to UAE's federal law, foreign-born residents can apply for citizenship after leaving the residing country for 30 years. However, if the individual is an Arab citizen from Oman, Qatar, Bahrain, and the period is 3 years, and Arabians descent from other countries may apply after 7 years. Again, it's based on race. And
race.
Hegemony. Yeah. And in Kuwait, which is our next, our next Middle Eastern country, Kuwait, again, in the country we went to war for to save their bacon, and they never even thanked us. I don't think they did. In fact, Kuwait just shot down 2 of our jets, didn't they? And ours at 3. Anyways, it's fuck the U.S. Anyway, Kuwait, another country that doesn't want anybody different in their country. An individual looking to become a citizen must 20 years. The period is reduced to 15 years. If it's another Arab country, again, hegemony. And additionally, their applicant must speak Arabic fluently and be a Muslim, either by birth or conversion, for hegemony. So that is Kuwait. And the third on this list of these 3 grouped together, Saudi Arabia, kind of has the same requirements. And I've known lots of people in the military have gone to these countries, and they said, I wouldn't live there at bird. I would not live there. These countries their government should be disbanded. Human rights don't exist. The workers are slaves. Why would you want to live there, right?
Well,
Saudi Arabia
slave,
has the rules where it says those who have converted in Saudi must practice the faith for at least 5 years. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia only offers one route to citizenship: marry a Saudi national. Even after this, a person, particularly non-Muslim, may be denied citizenship. Yeah, just crappy countries you don't. But hey, there's other countries you might want to live in, right? Switzerland is one. Hey, Switzerland, I like to ski. I like chocolate. I have a Swiss Army knife. I'll fit right in. But unfortunately for us, in the civilized world, Switzerland has complicated problems with immigration. Foreign-born residents of Switzerland who wish to become a citizen must have a C permit, which allows a person to live and work in Switzerland. A permit requires 5 years of continuous service. For EU nationals, citizens of the U.S. or Canada, and people from Europe and Free Trade Association countries, foreign-born individuals in any other country must live in Switzerland for at least 10 years. So they're due to hegemony for white folks. Simple as these. That sounds such a long stay can be a skilled employee of Swiss company. Already it's more prospective citizens must also become part of Swiss society and are not a security risk. Yeah, you gotta pass a security clearance to be a citizen, folks. Switzerland don't want you. They just don't want you, man. Our next is an African country. Bhutan regulates and monitors all travel into the country very closely. It's one of the world's most isolated nations and didn't open its borders to tourism until 1974. Its citizens' laws are similarly strict. The Bhutan Citizenship Act states that for a person to be granted citizenship at birth, both parents must be Bhutan citizen. That's just dumb. Our next one on this list is Bhutan. And we talked about North Korea, but you know what? South Korea, again, another country that is of a declining population, but they're limiting immigration. Yeah, don't make any sense, South Korea. So South Korea is a bit less strict than Bhutan, but there's a catch. In addition to living 5 years in the country, renouncing any citizenship, applicant must learn to speak, read, and write Korean, and makes males aged 18 to 35 military. So there you go. Korea don't want you. We don't want you unless you put your ass on the line. And I think if you could join any country's military, that gets you a path to citizenship, right? That gets
That's true as well.
In line ahead of everybody, right? It should be. And our number 12 and 13, we're in Central Europe. Austria is happy to welcome immigrants so long as they have in-demand work skills. The catch is only 11 professionals are currently considered in demand. So there's only 11 professions.
Okay.
Can't read that. Let's just say 11. Let me see. Yeah, it says that only 11 professions are in demand. So if you're like a dental assistant, for instance, tough shit. You're not going to be a citizen. You got to go to school, and then they'll change the list as soon as you go to school, right? Hey, they don't want to need those anymore. Anyway, so
suddenly we got a bunch
you must
of
be
them,
one of 11 professionals. The person must be at the very top of their profession. That you gotta really better recommendation. They also need to agree to learn German and participate in Austrian culture because Austria don't have its own language. They speak.
I mean, in a way, Austrian German is definitely its own language. I can tell you that much. In a lot of ways, it is its own language.
Yeah. Germany is our 13th on the list. Speaking of Germany, they're next. Germany, I got more hegemony. You think Germany would have learned from the hegemony of the past? What the heck? No. We ain't learned nothing. Germany, you must learn to speak German. Must demonstrate the ability to speak German and also show knowledge of German political system and society. Proof of employment and accommodation is also required. The prospective citizen must also live the country for 8 years, 7 years for those who test well. You can save a year by testing well. You can spend a year studying, or you can just take another year and just. And you must renounce your citizenship. A lot of countries don't require this. I don't think Canada renounces. I don't even think it requires you to renounce your citizenship. Those are your stories. Those are your situations in the world. I know I listed 15 countries, but I had to get North Korea and India in there for not pulling their weight at all. Right? Just not at all. You're not even making yourself desirable to somebody there.
Okay.
I guess that's the way you do it. Make it a horrible place to live and nobody wants to move there.
I mean, I find it interesting how surprised you are about all this because, I mean, obviously as somebody who wanted to immigrate anywhere else but the U.S. when I became an adult, I'm not surprised. I'm not even flabbergasted at all. I mean, I have to revoke my U.S. citizenship too to move here. And I also have to learn Dutch. And I have to take a test to prove that I've integrated, all that kind of stuff. And to be fair, all of these rules aren't made for me. They're made for, I mean, it's basically the religious war continued, right? The Arab states, the Muslim states all want you to continue being Arab and Muslim. And then the Christian states or the countries that built themselves on Christianity all want you to be white and Christian. So if you're a brown person and Arab, it's going to be harder for you to migrate or immigrate or become a citizen of Germany because you don't look like the people they want. If you are an American trying to go to Germany, it's way easier. I mean, the Netherlands has a whole scheme that you can do if you're American to join.
And again,
become a member of the country.
We're tending to Europe even again, and we're doing it again. It's Asia, the restrictive one. China and Japan, these other countries. Europe is at the bottom of the list. They're like the least restrictive. Even though this is a restrictive list, you're not going to see any Arab countries. You're not going to see any Asian countries. Taiwan's not on the list. I bet you could immigrate to Taiwan. But it's easier, right? Especially if you're Chinese.
I hear it's really nice to live in Thailand, but depends if you can suffer the heat, I guess, in the summer.
Thailand, I hear. Ask all the sex tourists, right? Anyway, let's have a mixed metaphor.
All the world is your clam. Unless you want to move to Asia, I guess. Then you're walking on eggshells in a minefield. Because it does sound like a lot of those places in East Asia are looking for one little excuse to be like, oh, you're denied. You once didn't help that old lady cross the road. You're not a Japanese citizen. Get out of here.
That's right. The world is your clam oyster. However, you can't it because it's sealed shut. Anyway.
Okay, let's roll our next segue. I'm also going to... Can you try disconnecting and reconnecting to Discord?
Send you a video. No, I just my phone off and that seemed to work.
No,
my phone was not doing anything.
You were good, and then you suddenly just freeze a lot of times when you talk.
What to do about that? It just comes and goes. I'm gonna
okay, well, I just asked you to do something. If you can't do it, you can't do it. Okay, let's roll our segue. For...
Why isn't Messenger one of my choices?
Tell a joke is our next segue. And we're going to talk about my culture news. This story is coming off of Euronews Culture. Germany, speaking of Germany, they don't want you to join the country, but they sure as hell will steal your stuff and finally give it back to you centuries later. This is from Anushka Roy. Germany is setting up a council to oversee the return of cultural property and human remains taken from former colonies. Germany has revealed plans to set up a body to repatriate artworks and artifacts and human remains acquired in a colonial context. The anticipated Coordination Council for Returns of Cultural Property and Human Remains from Colonial Contexts, only Germany would make it very long like that, will include representatives from the central government, the country's 16 states, and various municipalities. The aim is to make returns processes as transparent as possible to coordinate communication with internal partners, reads the statement released by the German Federal Foreign Office. The statement follows a top-level meeting held in Berlin last week. Owing to an agreement between German states and central government in 2019, the country began active efforts to repatriate artifacts and public collections taken illegally in a colonial context. Recently, countries such as Cameroon, Tanzania, Ghana, and Togo have set up return committees that are communicating with Germany for return of varying artifacts to their homelands. In 2022, Annalena Baerbock, the German foreign minister at the time, visited Nigeria to return the first 20 Benin bronzes, a group of sculptures native to Nigeria, and included decorated plaques, commemorative heads, and personal ornaments, among others, from 5 German collections. We are taking a long overdue step. It will not heal all wounds of the past, Baerbock said, regarding the return of the bronzes in 22. But together with Länder, cities, and museums, we are showing that Germany is taking seriously its efforts to address its dark colonial history. The bronzes were initially taken from Nigeria by British troops in the 19th century. So the Germans aren't guilty of it, but they held on to them. And some of them were bought by German collectors at auctions in London, according to German foreign offices. Now, with Coordination Council, Germany intends to send the important message that we are serious about addressing our colonial past, said Wolfram Weimer, Federal Government Commissioner for Cultural and Media. That's actually really funny. There's something really funny about London, the British being the ones who stole these pieces, but it's other countries are like, sorry about that. London's a bastard. Here you go. You can have them back now. London will never, the British Museum will never return these artifacts, so Germany and France and the Netherlands have to buy them from them so they can return them themselves. That's more of a wacky, weird story in a way. But it's a short one, and that's all I have to say about it. So, there's a story. You're muted, so I can't hear you.
I was trying to get my phone to work. I have no songs about artifacts or anything. Best I can do is about painters.
It's a joke.
No songs about video artifacts.
You're supposed to be telling me a joke.
Hey. Oh, it's a joke. Oh. Oh shit, a joke. Okay. I was reading the wrong line. I really don't have a joke. Okay, let's find us a joke. I was just joking about that. Your story was too short.
I do short stories on Thursdays because
otherwise
this show is 5 hours long.
I don't care about some app that ain't loading. It keeps telling me the app doesn't load, and I don't even care about some app. My phone just don't care what I want to do. It doesn't care what I want to do. I'm just trying to send you a video, and it don't care what I'm trying to do.
Just tell me the video, and I'll just look it up myself.
Why did the mummy visit?
Why'd the mummy?
What do you? I'm getting care.
Okay.
One more joke here. Sorry, I'm doing 2 things or 3 things at once here. My phone just decides to reset itself again. Okay, you can't joke. You can go to the museum. That's not funny. I asked the museum for directions. They pointed to the past. Museums are proof people will pay to see. They're not funny jokes.
I thought that one was funny. You didn't let it sit long enough.
Wow, these are terrible jokes. They're not even funny. Oh my lord. My god, these are terrible. I tried to touch the art. Security touched me first. These aren't even funny. Sorry about it. I'll find a funny joke. Funny. Well, the first joke it said, why did the mummy visit the museum? And then it just didn't give me a frickin' punchline. Oh, why didn't you give me a punchline? Yes, the joke. Stupid jokes. Why did the art thief run out of gas as he drove away from the museum?
Why did he run out?
That's stupid. He did not have enough the gas to make the van go.
I thought it was gonna be something like he ran out of.
Funny.
I thought it was gonna be something like he ran out of dinosaur bones or something. That's more of an intelligent joke.
I hate the internet. I just want the internet to stop being so. I was like, man, I give up. I'm just gonna do the same shit it did last time. All right, I guess I'll do this day in history and try to send you that. Unless you have another story. Do you have another?
Nope.
I have no way of doing this. All right, I think I got it. Hold on a second. Open the video. Open the video.
Yelling at it will make it happen.
What the hell? It's just I'm like right next to the Wi-Fi. There's no reason for this to go so slow. Wow.
All right, I'll give you some sarcasm.
My lord.
As
I'm sending you a video.
Internet
finally. 20 minutes later, after starting the process, I finally sent you a video. Wow. I'm just going to resign from the internet. This does nothing but piss me off. I'm just going to quit. I'm going to turn in my resignation today. That's it. I'm done with you, internet. Simplest all. And you just do this endless little loop thing. What did you spin?
Sarcasm. Take us to this day in history.
It's my turn.
Also,
this day in history, 1513, Spanish explorer. What?
Oh, I was gonna say welcome from the ad break. We actually had an ad break that whole time you were doing that, so you know nobody saw it.
Oh, hear my anger. All right, this day in history, we got a spin. Cast 1513. Explorer Ponce de Leon landed off the coast of Florida. He looked for Dalton of Youth. He didn't find it. He found Florida instead, which is a real disappointment.
Whoops.
1691, King Charles II of England officially proclaimed a charter he granted in March for William Penn for the Quaker colony of Pennsylvania in North America. I don't think he realized how big Pennsylvania was when he gave it to that guy. In 1865, in the face of advancing Union forces, Confederate troops evacuated Richmond, Virginia, the capital of the Confederate States of America during the American Civil War, which was about to end like 4 days later it ended. 1891, German sculptor Max Ernst, speaking of artists and museums, who was the leading advocate of irrationality, was born. Happy birthday to him. 1914, British actor Sir Alec Guinness, or Obi-Wan Kenobi from Star Wars, was known for his variety of exploits of a stage screen characterizations. Anyway, it's birthday for Alex Guinness. He's 102, if he was still around. 1917, Woodrow Wilson declared war against Germany, and the United States entered World War I. And about a year later, we ended it. It was over. 1918, by the end of November of the next year. 1968, Stanley Kubrick's 2001 Space Odyssey had its world premiere in Washington, D.C. Classic science fiction film. Right after the Arthur Brooke, Stanley Kubrick. 1978, soap opera Dallas debuted 5-part miniseries of American television, hugely popular. It became a running series and revolutionized primetime dramas. That's kind of silly. I don't think it revolutionized. Just turned them into soap operas. But Peyton Place was already a primetime soap opera back in the 50s. So there you go. 1982, Argentine troops seized the Falkland Islands, or as they call them in Brooklyn, the Falkland Islands, participating in the Falkland Islands War with Britain. Argentina's like, there's like 7 people here and 4 million sheep. What do you care? 1990, Turkish organized crime boss John Gotti was convicted of 13 criminal counts, including the murder of Paul Castellano and others, racketeering, obstruction of justice, and was sentenced to life in prison. John Gotti, again, make these idiots into heroes when all they are is criminals. I'm so against making these guys into heroes. It's so fucking sad that we make these pieces of shit that don't want to work into freaking heroes. 2005, Bishop of Rome and head of the Roman Catholic Church of 1978, Pope John Paul II, who was the first non-Italian pope in 455 years. Anyway, he died on this day in 2005. He was made a saint in 2014. They've totally freaking streamlined that saint process. He used to take hundreds of years. And they actually had to be a saint. Like, hey, never did anything wrong. Which is nobody. Nobody's ever a saint. 2050, Portuguese filmmaker Manuel de Oliveira, who was known for his richly meditative and often self-reflective films that were frequently inspired by... Anyway, he died at this day at the age of 106. His films that were frequently inspired by literary and theatrical works. Aren't all films? I'm just saying. Today in history, our featured event is 1863. We spoke about Richmond falling on this day in 1865. On this day in 1863, residents of Richmond rioted to protest dire food shortage in the city. On March 27th, Confederate President Jefferson Davis, famous cross-dresser, called for a day of fasting and prayer, which angered many. More than 100 women began marching towards government storehouses on April 2nd, yelling, "Bread or blood!" It was only after Davis threatened to shoot the rioters, who started ransacking warehouses, that things were settled, though more than 60 rioters were arrested. Ha, you lost the war and you ran out of food only 2 years in, you idiots. Charlemagne is our feature biography, who was born somewhere in 1747 with a question mark on April 2nd. We know it's April 2nd, but we don't know what year. Suspicious of even know if it's April 2nd. And he died January 28th of the year 814 in Aachen, Germany. He was the first Holy Roman Emperor, Charlemagne. Rodney King's birthday today. He was the one that beaten to a pulp by the cops and ended the riots when the acquittal of the cops resulted in riots. Right. 1805, Hans Christian Andersen was born. Danish author, wrote a lot of fairy tales. 1914, Alec Guinness, we did that. Marvin Gaye's birthday, American singer and composer, born 1939. He would be, almost 90. He'd be 87 today. Camille Pagila, American academic, born 1947. We did a Rodney King. National Day today. National Do-It-Yourself. National Burrito Day. National Ferret Day. Those animals that smell funny. At least they smell funny to me. National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day. Peanut butter jelly time. National Reconciliation Day. So you need to reconciliate with somebody who you just haven't fighting. You just stop fighting. Over here, what are we fighting about anymore? I don't know, but you're an asshole. Let's reconcile today. That's all your things for today. Your haikus, your spins, your jokes, your songs, your moon launches.
Our moon launches.
List, everything for Thursday, April 2nd. And before peanut butter, jelly, and burritos.
My favorite
Do-it-yourself.
four-person food, I guess. What is it called? The struggle meal. That's my struggle meal.
It's a struggle.
The struggle meal is some peanut butter and jelly inside a tortilla. All right. I mean,
for next week.
Why was Charlemagne really as holy as he proclaimed? I don't believe it. I feel like he had the same holes as all of us.
Yeah, he had a lot of holes.
I bet he didn't die with a lot of holes. He had an extra hole. He was way more holy. All right, that's good to know.
All right.
Let me just get this video
There's
in here
hole.
because
a super hole.
Didn't want to download. Here it is.
Yeah, my video, YouTube's broken today. I swear that's what it is. YouTube's just broken.
It must be, huh? All right, let's slot this into our
loading
Minecraft
here. It's
moment.
just sitting there. Yeah, I know you want YouTube to open, but we got a story for tomorrow, and
All right. There's one international UN observance today, World Autism Awareness Day. That's right. There's people who have brains. I mean, I'm not an autism denier.
I'm not one of them.
I'm a normal denier. I don't believe anyone out here is normal. We've just built society a certain way, and there's people who don't match that, and then we decide they have autism, so that's why they don't work in society. We made up rules. We live in society, guys.
YouTube is.
Anyways, there's people out there who have this thing called autism, and we decided to put them in a box over there and say, hey, you need special treatment, and your life sucks. So let's bring their lived experience and of the autistic individuals up and soar higher so that they can have a happy life just like we do. Something. They're just humans like all of us. So I don't know why we're talking about people with autism in like a othering way, but there you go. The UN tells us to respect people with autism. If you're not doing that already, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, I know you. I know you talked for a while, but my video still hasn't loaded. Oh, maybe it'll load it on my phone.
This has been Alison here from the Netherlands, Roger from the East Coast of the US. As we finish off another Thursday, it's almost Friday. We'll see you tomorrow for Friday's news dump, in which we'll tell you all the news you need to hear about before the weekend, so you don't have to worry about it. Thank you everyone who's been watching the show, who's following us or subscribed to us. And if you're not subscribed to the Before Coffee podcast channel, please do that. Even if you don't watch us, we need more subscribers so that YouTube will push us onto more recommended pages and then onto the algorithm. So appreciate everybody who likes the video, comments on it. Turn those notifications on so you know when we go live or post a video. And are we ready to go? Is the video loaded?
No. Not yet.
You only have to say it once.
Starting a page. Okay. Well, I'm just updating, right? Because
Okay.
oh, and by the way, now that it started to load, it jumps right ahead to the 42-second mark for some reason. YouTube is messed up, man. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, then let's go to our, I guess, monumental moment in our mic drop moment.
3, 2, 1.
Oh yeah.
Booster ignition. And
These people aren't going to a satellite. They're going to the
NASA
moon.
Powered off the launch
Hasn't
pad
been
at the
done
Kennedy
in
Space
Yeah, they are
ages.
escaping
with the new
Earth's.
Artemis generation of explorers.
This is not a
crew of
little
Artemis
rocket
2 now
booster
bound
because
for
they're
the
not.
moon. Humanity's
They're
next
putting
great
something
voyage
way
begins.
beyond Earth's.
Artemis 2,
Immediate
NASA's most powerful
atmosphere.
rocket ever,
Mm-hmm.
roared
Wow,
off with
9 million
nearly
pounds of
9
thrust.
million pounds of thrust.
That's a
On
lot of
board
thrust.
astronauts inside the Orion space capsule
I don't
on a
think something
mission
crossed
to
my
loop
puzzles.
around the
That's what she
moon,
said.
Nice and stable.
That's what
What's
she said.
the word for this?
reflecting on their journey.
We've got 2 moon rises that we've
Rust.
had so far, and the views of planet Earth. We forgot
It's a
how beautiful
5-minute
it is
video, enough.
down on Earth.
You're gonna play the
It's
whole
very
thing.
cool. Now we're
Outside
playing the whole
Space
thing.
Center, hundreds of thousands
This is
lined
the
the coast
first time this
to
has happened
witness the
in,
crew's
what, since the
history-making
70s.
climb into the heavens.
The late,
After
well,
a brief
the late
54-year
Wow, those
70s.
ears.
intermission,
Put them ears in
NASA
space.
Hey, come on,
back in
man.
the
That guy
business
could
of
fly
sending
on his own.
astronauts to the moon.
The 10-day
He's
journey
built
starts with
rockets.
an orbit around the
just say
Earth
it, man.
and then powering up for a 24,000-mile-per-hour ride further into
I really wish I
space
knew
than
what that was in
anyone has ever gone
kilometers.
before, and that loop around the far side of the moon.
We are going.
This guy is so excited. The
On board
voiceover
Orion
man
for that
is very excited.
600,000-mile round trip, Commander
There they
Reed
go, our
Weissman,
astronauts.
Pilot Victor Glover, Mission Specialist Christina Cook,
Victor
and
Glover
Mission
related
Specialist
to
Canadian
Donald
astronaut
Glover,
Jeremy
obviously.
Hansen. Before the launch, they
It's the
all took
first time
part in a
every
traditional
other moon
last
mission has
card
been
game
3
to
astronauts,
play
so
out
they
any
can
bad
connect
hands.
And they've got, then they've got the,
After a final
What do we
goodbye
call
to
it?
family members, the
And all white
astronauts in
people.
their orange
They're
spacesuits
not all men.
rode the launch tower, then climbed into the Orion capsule
right.
high atop Artemis.
Not-
While this
not
first
that-
trip will not
Like
include
that
a lunar
diversity.
landing, it will chart
Get
a path
fucked.
for humans to return to the
Diversity.
moon in 2028,
Basically,
and eventually use
yeah,
a surface
flying
base
on a rocket
as a
ship
launching
is not even a
pad
skill.
onto
You
Mars.
just basically got to
The
be
sun is
human
right
and
and on
not
integrity.
panic, right?
Yeah. Are you excited or what? A couple
Woke
of
moon
little-
landing,
Doggy did it.
First
bitches.
of all,
Get
Victor
woke
Glover,
moon
the pilot,
landing.
got to
We, the
manually
leftists
fly
win
Orion
again.
exactly as planned. That went perfectly.
The first
comms
thing in
issue that
space
they
was a
had
dog.
resolved already. And maybe the most important one, at least for the folks on board that spaceship, the
didn't live.
toilet is now fixed. It's working. Brand
The
new
toilet's
You want to
fixed.
have it working before you head
next
to the
gig.
moon.
That's the most
Lord,
important
makes
thing.
you
Yeah.
Glad to hear that
For
for
sure.
sure, Tom. Tom, thank you.
Yeah.
For more on
Yeah,
the
and you gotta
successful
recycle all your
launch and the
urine, so you
historic
can't
mission
just
ahead,
flush it into
we want to turn to
space.
former
You
NASA
gotta
astronaut Mike
recycle it.
Massimino, who was also there for us at the
They're
Kennedy
eating
Space
their
Center this
their
morning.
space
And
ice
Mike,
cream and all that
understand
stuff.
You got to take in the history last night
the
with
turds get
a
flushed into
brotherhood of
space,
former
but everything
astronauts.
Nah,
You
they
watched
probably
that
feed that to
rocket
the
go into
plants or
space.
something.
What was going through your mind there, Mike?
Plants.
Chris, really, it was just an
No,
amazing
man.
experience, and to be there with
Take
my
all the
colleagues.
moist
Some of
turd
them I
and
hadn't
launch
seen in
it out
over a
into space.
decade. So many of
Yeah,
us
they
showed
freeze
up
dry
for
it
this
and turn it to
with our-
Snickers
with our
bars.
guests
What do you
to
mean?
view it. I think the feeling was that this is what when we
They make
became
you lose your
American
appetite.
astronauts. 30 years ago, I was selected. A lot of my classmates were there. Some there
Don't
much
eat late.
before me. I think the feeling was this is what we
I
were
might not
striving
eat
toward.
now.
All the shuttle
Anyway.
flights, building the space
Yeah.
station.
When I was
leading up
watching
to
this yesterday, I
We
was
were
saying how
sending
sad it
people to the
is
moon
that
to
how
develop
much more we would have
station
progressed
there, a
if we didn't
settlement
stop.
there to stay,
Right? It's
to
been
learn not only about the moon,
50
but more
years
about our place
since
in
we
the
stopped
universe.
trying to get to the moon.
And
I
also
think the
our
only
planet.
reason-
We're going to learn so much, not only
The
about
only
what's
reason
out there,
The only
but also
reason we got to the
about our
moon
planet
is to
by
beat the
doing
Russians
this, the
there. And the
exploration that
Russians
we're
had
gonna
no
be
interest
doing
in
now.
it. And we didn't
I
realize
felt
it
like
until we
a
already got
new
there.
era has
So.
really
Yeah.
started, and this was the first step. And if
And the
we
Russians couldn't do it,
choose,
by
and
the way.
I hope we will choose as a world
I'm,
to
I
continue this
understand that. I'm
journey.
just saying, like, if
I
we
think
didn't
we
stop
can't even
doing it, we
imagine
probably
what we're
would
gonna
already
learn
have a
from it.
moon
A new
base.
era indeed.
50 years
Mike,
ago?
So obviously, they're
Probably
getting to
30
explore
years
their new
Probably,
days.
yeah.
we
They're
would have
now
already
in
had a
day
moon base.
2
We wouldn't
and
have to be
walk
doing
us through
playing catch up
exactly
is what we're doing
what
now.
work they're going to be doing.
Because the technology we are using to get there is maybe a little
Yeah,
bit
so
more
this-
advanced,
Lara,
but it's
this
not
is a-
different.
This is really
it's
a
the same
test flight.
three-part detachment that we had before.
They're doing some checkout of the Orion spacecraft. This is the first time this spacecraft has been launched with people on it.
We got moon
They
rocks.
did some
I don't know. I mean,
proximity
the
operations tests,
happened in 1903,
meaning that with one of the upper stages, they flew the vehicle around that other object to see how well it handles, how it controls. Because eventually you're going to want to do those same types of operations with a landing vehicle. You have to be able to dock with it. And so how precisely can you control the Orion in relation to another object? So that's going on. And then the big event is going to be later tonight. So this evening, they're going to fire their engine.
Cool that humans can do this,
the
but I
moon
don't think it really accomplishes
in what's called the translunar injection.
I mean,
burn.
as they said
That's
earlier
gonna
at the
be
beginning of the
burned.
video,
Put them on a
right?
path
They're
to the moon.
planning
It's
to
gonna
make
take
a
about
moon
4
base
days
so
to
that they
get
can
there.
go to Mars.
Once they get there, they're going to be doing a lot of photography and tests.
This is just like the first step
communications tests
in
it's
a
checking
very
out the
long,
spacecraft,
many
working
steps
including the toilet.
that
And
as a
all the systems that
pessimist,
they're all
I don't
working, and then
believe that they're
be
going
on
to
a
even, we're
trajectory
ever going to
to
reach
come home.
Mars
It's
because
about
we're
another
just going to
4
get
days to come
distracted
home,
by earthly
and then
things and
we'll
go,
see them,
oh yeah, we were trying to get to Mars. I wonder how the moon base is
out
doing.
9
Oh, it fell
or so
apart.
days from now.
Nobody's there maintaining it anymore because we forgot about it for 50 years.
Air Force there in Florida.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can
You're
catch
welcome
the Today
for
Show
watching.
every morning on NBC.
I
Or
guess
take
if the
Today
moon
when
has
you're
a
on
lot
the
of
go. Just
minerals they
follow
can
the Today
harvest to
podcast
create
on
energy,
Apple
that would be
Podcasts,
helpful, right?
Spotify,
You wouldn't have to ship
Yeah, let's mine the moon.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.
All right, now Thursday.